Hey, what's up, guys? So, this is it. This is the new room, finally. So today I'm going to answer some questions on the Model O, I guess Model O minus mouse. So, starting with question number 1. If I buy this mouse, will I have this problem? Well, I worked with the sample size of 1, so if it was a sample size of 1, it'd be yes, but that's obviously not the case for all their market. What I can do is refer you to their transparency report. So every quarter they have like their transparency report where they report all their defects and whatever. So the latest one was for quarter 4 2019 and quarter 1 2020. So let's have a look. For Model O and Model O minus, RMA defect rate has now decreased significantly to 0.44 and 0.19% respectively, down from 1% and 1.5% last quarter. So if those numbers are good and ain't BS, chances are you're not going to have this issue. Next, all my buttons work, but my cursor won't move. Help, what do I do? I mentioned this in the video, so that's one thing that bugs me. And I also put it in the video description, which, who reads that, right? So I'll go over that again. So, funny enough, this fix was actually told to me by their support. So I'll just read it off their email. Sometimes when people change the cable, the sensor is not working. What would solve it is uninstalling, reinstalling the software, running it as admin, and then clicking the restore button. I'll show a picture of that. And then hit apply. For some reason, this restores the Model O to a working state. And worked for me. Alright, next question. This is a really good one and a very, very good point and a hard one to even answer. I know this video was posted quite a while ago, but this problem recently started happening to me. I was looking at the ticket thing, and it needs me to make a video of it disconnecting. I feel like this might be an obvious answer, but should I record my game for the mouse or both? And it doesn't happen super frequently, so I just be recording all day and hope I get lucky. Kind of the answer, actually. So what I did, because they wanted me to do the same bullshit, and I totally understand this question. It's an intermittent issue. How do you replicate an intermittent issue? So, knowing what the fault is, if you haven't seen the video of what the fault is, it's like, at least in sample size of 1, my mouse, all the cables were cut. So my guess is the wires were shorting. And the question is, why would that happen months later? If all the cables are cut, why wouldn't it happen day 1? Don't know. Not sure. But I just kind of started beating my mouse against the pad until it did it. And you could probably maybe run your finger across and try to figure out where those cables are cut, if that's what's happening with your mouse, and see if it'll cause it to spaz out and act up. But yeah, it sucks. You'd have to sit there and maybe use a program like I use, OBS, and record your game all the time until it acts up. But yeah, I just beat the crap out of my mouse on my pad a little bit, and the issue started. And why beating it on the pad? Because, the issue's in the cable, not the mouse. Why would you beat the mouse? But just stick with it a little bit until maybe you get lucky and it spazzes out and you can record it. And using video capture software like I use, that takes up a lot of space on your hard drive. So if you wanted to record your screen with that, maybe do it in an hour interval and then delete it. And even that's an issue because you got to have the hardware to run the damn program. It takes kind of demanding hardware to run video capture stuff. It's a tough one, man. There's no good answer to that. Just like you said, you got to get lucky. Okay, next question. Is it true that I can use a cable from a different mouse? Yes, sorta. I used the cable from this mouse, and now I will go into why this is true. So on the mouse, the connector is this. Now, for the sort of disclaimer, obviously a Dell trackball is really old. So for this cable that I took out of it, I had to swap 2 of those wires around. I think it was the red and that black. I had to swap those around, and I figured out I needed to swap it. First, I just plugged it in and it didn't work. But you know, the connector is the same. Oddly enough, over the years, the connector is still the damn same. Good thing about PC hardware, it doesn't change a lot unless it's a Molex, and it really needs to change. So I used a continuity test on these prongs, which it's not going to focus in on, but you know, USB connector has prongs in it, and then did a continuity check to each wire to figure out which one I needed to swap, and I just moved the pins around, and then bam, had a cable to test with. So yeah, you can do it. I would assume that on newer stuff, not a Dell trackball, that the connector would be, you know, more modern and you wouldn't have to do that. Unless they decide to start soldering this shit on, which even then you can still change it if you know how to solder. Yeah, you can swap them out. But I asked support rep about it. I said, this is a common question. You know, can you help me out? Are these things standardized, or are you just picking what pins to put where? And this is what they said. I would tell the viewers to stick with the sending cable, as using any other cable voids the warranty. Like, you know, like they would know you swapped the cable anyways. They let you take it apart and it doesn't void your warranty. Additionally, there's a video on our cable page that shows people how to replace the cable step by step. I understand this may not be the most convenient piece of advice for some, but as an official Glorious representative, I cannot recommend any fixes, resolutions involving non-Glorious gear. Hope you understand. So yeah, basically run-of-the-mill rep answer. But you know, contact their support. They'll give you another cable. They gave me $50 for the mouse, and I just bought a cable with it and fixed the mouse. So you know, just contact their support. You don't really need to jump straight to using another mouse cable. And the thing is like, their cables look nice. You know, getting a basic, you know, cable like this on that mouse would kind of look ugly anyways. So unless you're in a bind and that's what you want to do, you don't want to wait for shipping. I would just do what they said. Just get their sending cable. You know, do an RMA claim. Let them give you another cable. I would assume they would give you one if they know it's defective. All right, last question. Z1QQ0. This is very gay content. All right. All right, I hope I answered your questions pretty good, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.